This is a Link Up Radio exclusive interview.
Now that we've got the entire tri-state area listening, also the World Wide Web, www.linkupmedia.com, let's find out who we've got on the phone lines right here. Link Up Radio 93.5 WVIP and Hot 102 in Jamaica. Mr. Mirage, how you doing?
Bless up, Squeeze, bless up. I'm a say, heal licking in glad tiding and fireborn racism, and heal all that is living, heal all that is living,
Definitely, folks. Just in case you don't know who Mr. Mirage is, a.k.a. Super Cat, is right here on, of course, the Link Up. Not for the first time. He has been on our radio program several times. But, of course, by now, a lot of you have heard so many things about so many infractions and all of that stuff. We thought that it would be proper and, of course, of journalistic, professional nature to have that man right here on Link Up Radio telling the folks his side of the story and exactly what's going on with his life right now, ever since I heard quite a few things last year that took place. Mr. Supercat, I just want you to reiterate what it is that took place last year right here on Link Up Radio and exactly what's going on right now with your life. We already know you're doing big things musically, but what's going on personally in your life right now?
Well, Squeeze, a whole heap of thing, it's a big story. I have to give Jah the glory, but I have to call people like the great Squeeze to let the friends and fans and your condition understand, because there's a lot of people out there that said, they're looking to see us forward in the ring doing the work, which we miss the fans them for so long. And we have to be putting up with a lot of things that is pushed on us by the system, which there's a corrupted part of this business that we are involved in called showbiz, which is in the reggae business. And we, the artists, been suffering, with it for so long. But anyway, I want to declare to the fans let them know what is going on with Supercat. Basically, what it is, Squeeze, is that Supercat been coming out of Jamaica with this reggae, dancehall, original thing, we come way back from the days of Yellow Man, Josie Whale and all of that come right up. Well, while I was signed to Columbia Record and was there with my great friend Shabba Rankin and them guys doing great things, for a minute there, then we walk away, Squeeze, and try to do our own independent thing.
Right, and of course you get a fight.
Yeah, well, because, away from Bob Marley was getting the same fight, God bless him soul, and when I was a little youth, sitting down watching him roll him split for him call them Ziggy, and I hear him say, he was talking to Never Willoughby, and him say, I take a trip go up to Europe, And I said, the mom after the music, So I go do I next best. I farm gang. I go stop work for them, man, because it look like, say, it just pay a rocket or reach in eye pocket. And him say, I go America and I put on eye cap. Which them time they had young, I didn't even know him at all about his cap, because it was a long way before we learn about publishing.
Yes.
Every man I look around and say, but the dread not change him cap. The dread still have on the same leather cap. So what the dread mean him go America and put on him cap? Which cap? Well, God bless early be soul who was the man with several level amongst us coming from Boys Town. So listen, man, and listen to dread at all about his cap, man. The American publishing company.
Yeah, just for those who don't know out there, ASCAP is one of the leading publishing companies here in the United States who do so many things, good and bad, by artists. Go on. So
when we learn that, we say, okay, well, I Supercat been traveling the world for a long time, because God bless the music, and him say singers and players of instruments shall be there, and the government shall be upon our shoulder, which is written in the great book, the Bible. And when I learned that on the music side to start travel abroad, I see Squeeze many times. I play up in a Whitehall, up in them place there, jump sound like the great Playmate sound. So I know you jump it long time in a dance hall, so them can't tell me nothing, boy, you never squeeze rhythm in a dance hall. I know you squeeze a whole heap of thing before you get up there, musically. Now, see, this is where it reached now. In 1996 of the summer, I was here in my basement with my manager, Mr. Late Great Fred Dana, who passed away, a man who I keep that thing in Amazura to give him his respect, because as a white man working amongst me, and we are black people coming out of Jamaica, the Caribbean, we don't want to have white people working amongst us. And when they passed away, if it was the act of God, which it wasn't, we would have to give them their respect so that people don't look down on us when we have people of other race and other class working amongst us. We want to show them that we are people of class. And we appreciate of the work that people do, especially when it was a white man walking through reggae land, helping we to hold up this thing to a distinction. I said, God bless him soul. So I did it for him with all nations from the four corners of the earth into Amazura to send him off to Zion musically with a lot of love behind him, and God bless him right there. Even you was there, Squeeze, and I want to say
Yes, I was.
enough respect to you for that, because you left your business to come take in more music from the West Indies.
As always, man.
So bless up.
Yes, sir.
Well, anyway, in the summer of 1996, Fox 5 bury Supercat alive, which is Fox 5 News.
What do you mean by that?
I was here in my basement, me and Mr. Fred Dana, when I get a call from a good friend of mine who was running Jamrock Club, and a manager who was managing Dennis Brown called me and said, Squeeze, turn on your TV, which they were referring to me, Supercat, and look at yourself dead on Fox 5 channel. Now, when I was looking at Fox 5, they were having a news bulletin saying Supercat William Maraj was robbed and shot in Brooklyn, New Lat, and was pronounced dead on arrival at Kings County Hospital. When I look out there on the television, I saw hundreds of people out there by Rockaway and Linden Boulevard to see the last remain of Supercat. I just a puff and I spliff and I said to my to address this, you know. I'm going to watch to see what's going to become of this and if this is a conspiracy. Anyway, years goes on, and from them time I start to put up with difficulties in the music business, because at that time I walked away from Columbia Record because of internal conflict which wasn't beneficiary to us when we were signed there. We were undermined by a system, and it wasn't the label, but the small people who work inside were always getting in the way of business because they don't know how to share and to communicate with each other. So it was pressuring the artists because of people couldn't carry out their part of the work properly. They couldn't agree with each other, and they were product manager and they were A&R, but they were fighting, causing conflict and not representing Star. But anyway, to make a long story short, I walked away for many years and I watched the industry slowly try to destroy us and undermine us in the reggae segment, not giving us any representation at the majors, but they would sign us from time to time. God bless Sean Paul, I see him go on to get a good blow and take off like a rocket.
True.
Hope them have something in his pocket.
True.
Well, anyway, I watched it for years, Squeeze, and then nothing happened, you know. So then I go back to sign to the majors again when I receive a deal from Pharrell and them, and they did try, but what happened, things get in the way again, and it did not work out. Well, when I signed to Pharrell, I was here waiting to see things happen, and Pharrell them was tied up with a lot of work.
You mean Pharrell, the R&B slash rap artist?
Yes,
right?
that artist there. Okay. I see that they have a lot of work, so they wasn't paying Supercat at the time of day. And I'm not here to walk behind anybody. I will walk beside you, I will walk around you, and I will work with you, but I'm not going to walk behind you.
True.
So I'm here to tell them that I'm here to represent reggae, and reggae don't walk behind nobody. It's a little independent market on its own, and don't might think we need the major. We don't, because we have something substantial that we've been living off over the years. We have an independent base.
Thank you.
And it is very strong and respectable amongst the people who enjoy it. Well, anyway, Squeeze, I give them back their money because while they were having me sitting down and I was wondering what is happening, I wanted to go to work, but they did not decide when it was. So I tried to make something happen for myself. A project came out of Def Jam, which was 112. I did the remix. We went down to Jamaica to do the video. After I finished doing the video, I had some money left over, and I decided to visit to get to Kingston and check some of my little friends and make them have some paper, because I was leaving out shortly. I never come to stay. I was just here on a work mission. Went to see my old lady and so forth, pay respect to my community, bun some good Haitians out of Jamaica, as are the greatest Haitians in the world. And then when I was back on the plane, 15 minutes before I land on Kennedy Airport, my manager said to me, Cat, they messed me up, you know. I myself was feeling out of my mind for the first time. I never feel so lightheaded in myself. I'm wondering what is happening. I'm here, but I'm not here. Then I said to him, what happened, Mr. Fred? He said, listen, man. If it's not, it's in the food, it's in the drink, but I sure it's in the weed. I watched him die slowly for 8 weeks.
So in other words, something.
The man said to me he was poisoned.
Wow.
I didn't believe him.
Slowly.
Yeah. But then I find myself that the poison was in me too, because then from 170 pounds I was training. I have an Asian trainer who was training me. His name is Ivan. God bless all of the Asian. Them kind was a great man training me. And Supercat become a strong giant and become 170 pounds and feeling good and fit and ready to go and work. Well, when them lick me up with that poison, I come down from 170 pounds to 105 pounds.
Wow.
Almost dying in my sleep. When I wake up that morning, I find my manager bleeding through his nose, his mouth, and a hole in his head top. Because the poison that him get, when they play, him telling me that him feel something walking from him ankle, up to him foot, up to him hip, up to him waistline till it come up to him side, go up to him shoulder, then I see it bore a hole in his head. And he went to the hospital shortly after we were working on a project called Reggae-matic, which Sean Paul touched a project for me, and I get some money, and I decided to put it back in the industry because for so long Supercat been out of action, and I love the music so dearly to my heart that when I make that money, I decide to put it back into the business.
I remember that project. We were a part of it, yeah.
Yes, sir. So I was into Unique Studio doing some work, and I was watching a horse called Silent Fred for weeks, and I tell Fred that, Fred, watch this horse. Well, the day that
As
Fred,
in the race horse, right?
yes, the race horse named Silent Fred. Well, the day when Silent Fred win, Snakey as an engineer from Prince Jammy's studio was there with me as a witness. Norris Webb, my keyboard player from City Heat Band, was there with me as a witness. Goldfinger win the first race that day. I tried to call Goldfinger from Long Island to tell him that that horse is going to win, set some money on it. Well, I didn't find him. He was in Jamaica. Snakey said to me, Cat, how you know these things? I say, handicap horse, you know, so I know when they're going to win. And my selector, which is Juki, who play in Amazura there when we did that thing for Mr. Fred, I give him $100 and say, go down to the OTB and put this $100 on this horse named Silent Fred Juki. And if this horse win, remember I tell you that Fred is going to be dead. He said, why you must say that? I say, I am a man that reads sign and rake. 15 minutes before I give him that $100, Fred was on his way down to a studio in Brooklyn, which is Ed Robbins' studio, to pay this guy called, this guy named who used to sing for King Jammy's, man. I can't remember his name, but he was going down there to pay this artist who was on the Reggae-matic project.
Okay.
Well, Fred called me from Hempstead Lake and said, listen, Cat, I'm not going to make this trip because I black out on the way, I almost kill people. I have to draw over upon the soft shoulder and I don't know what happened, but I'm going to park the car at home and I'm going to check myself in the hospital because I went there twice and they said they see nothing. So I'm going back the third time. While he went there the third time, he was going to pay Anthony Malvo, to get the name right.
Yeah.
While he go there the second time, this is the third time, he says he's going to park the car and go back to the hospital. We were in the studio at Times Square down there at Unique Studio, mixing off the project. Well, when he get to the hospital, he called me from the hospital and he was in the background and he was upset because the doctors and him were fighting. They wrestled him to admit him because he was saying to me, Cat, them saying that them see tumor and all kind of thing, and I come here 2 times and they did not see anything. I said, what you talking about? And he said, they want to admit me. Well, the doctor them wrestle him, that they even go as far as break one of his hand before they could admit him, heavy sedated him because they said they saw tumor, and he was telling me that they are saying it is cancer. Well, they admit him, heavy sedated him. I could never ever speak to Fred again from that day. That racehorse win that day, that named Silent Fred, and I knew it was a rake, that Mr. Fred was going to be dead. Anyway, when I do an investigation, I pay some people to do some investigation. Them also was missing from the track here that the racing promotion filed for bankruptcy. Well, it goes on to make a long story short. I gave back Farrell and them their money because without a manager, I could not administrate business. And I, Supercat, who've been in the business for many years, has run professional business. I has never take a promoter money and never turn up. I has never taken anyone money in the business and don't deliver because I believe in good work and quality, honesty, dignity. That is my motto that I stand for in this business.
Always.
So basically, I watched Mr. Fred in the hospital slowly die, and over 8 weeks period he passed away. So I sent back the money to Farrell and I was here sitting down wondering what is going to become of me because without a good management in this business you cannot go anywhere.
True. Then
I realized that something is wrong when I receive a letter from the American Bureau of Unclaimed Funds, Inc. that's saying to me, reporting agency Sony Music Entertainment, funds description, AMTS amount due for undelivered goods/services. And it said, Dear William Maraz, to William Maraz, our rightful heir. And it said, please be advised that the American Bureau of Unclaimed Funds, Inc. has determined that the state of New York currently owes unclaimed funds in the name of William Maraz under the account such and such, which is to account number. These are amounts due for undelivered goods/services under the New York State Abandoned Property Law. Reporting agency are required to turn these funds over to the New York State Office of Unclaimed Funds. These funds will be held by the New York State Comptroller's Office until a proper claim is filed, which I did file. Then the letter goes on to say, the assets on the account such and such were reported to the state by Sony Entertainment, Inc. in 2005. There was a questionnaire behind it. I filled that questionnaire out, send it in, and they replied to me and said that I will be hearing from them within the first month of the new year, which is '07. In January of '08, 2007, I received a letter stating, State of New York, Office of the State Controller, Office of Unclaimed Funds, reference number 1037-3710, William A. Maraj, and my address is there. And it goes on to say, Dear William A. Maraj, thank you for your letter concerning unclaimed funds held by this office. In order to further process your claim, we will require the following documentation. A copy of the death certificate for William Maraj, which is Super Cat. So I'm dead man walking. It goes on to say a copy of currently dated certificate of letter, testamentary of letters of administration for the estate of William Maraj. Such certificate should be dated within the past 6 months. Or if not, such appointment has been made, please complete the enclosed small estate affidavit with the appropriate section of the affidavit filled out by either a relative of the descendant, Part A in bracket, or creditor of the descendant, Part B in bracket. In addition, the person who fills out the affidavit must sign it in the presence of a notary public. Then the next part that interests me is the fund we hold represent an outstanding Sony Music Entertainment Inc. refund check dated 6/21/93, reported in the name of William Maraj. Now, when I figure out these things, I figure out that there is either a case of identity theft on my name or the system went and declared Super Cat dead, because when they declared me dead in 1996, in the summer when I was shot, they claimed, allegedly, in Brooklyn, in New Lots, and was pronounced dead on arrival to Kings County Hospital. That was the conspiracy, and the attempt to further went on to do whatever, what you call racketeering they was putting together to pass Super Cat dead in the system, so whosoever it may concern that was collecting my royalties. Now these things go back from the days of Bob Marley, Peter Touch, the late great Reagan, which Jimmy Cliff starred a movie called The Other Day Come. That was a family of Super Cat, the man that take up 2 guns to go and pursue the producer for when he worked he wasn't getting pay, and these things been haunting us from back in those days. Now after that, from last year to this time, over a 7-month period, there's 3 attempts that made on my life to assassinate me.
Can you expound on that?
I was coming from a place in Nassau Road, where I was in my house reading my Bible, burning a spliff, and realized that I'm running out of Whistler and I needed to burn an extra spliff. So I went to the store to get me a Whistler. On my way coming back to my house, there was a car following me. I make a couple of turns and a couple of side roads and realized that the car was still coming. So, being in America a long time and being over the world and study how the world is run, and know that sometimes when you are in jeopardy, you have to think quick. And it was in the middle of the night, like 12:30 going to 1. When I realized that the car was following me every turn I make, I was preparing myself. When I get in front of my house and the motion light turn on, I have to roll out on top of my lawn and pop it off, because I don't afraid to say I pop it off. Because I couldn't see through dark glass, so I decided to pop it off and then take off fast. A second time, a call was made from a person who I actually know asking me where I was, but because I realized something was happening, I did not take the call on my house phone. I took the call on my cellular phone. The person said, where are you? I said, I don't give out my location. When I looked through my door, there was a car parked in front of my house with 2 people there. I could not see clearly who they were, but they were there for like 5 minutes, and then they fired like 5 shots, and the car took off. On January the 1st, I went out of my house to go to food shopping, and there was 2 cars following me. One tried to chop me off. The other one tried to block me in, so I kind of banked myself out of that and chop off the first car, pop it off again in the middle of the street, and the second car took off. The first car took the bank inside and get away. I did not decide to pursue anyone because I don't want to get myself in trouble. Well, when all of that did not work out, they go as far as setting me up with the police. And in '05, Veterans Day, I was in an OTB in Nassau County, where I sent a gentleman with $50 to buy a number 8 horse at Turf Paradise. I tell him, go and show this number 8 horse for me. The horse show at 28-1. I said, go and collect the bet, sir. When he went to the lady at the window to collect the bet, I hear when the gentleman said to the lady, ma'am, This is the wrong bet. I did not ask you for a horse at Los Alamos. I said number 8 at Turf Paradise. I hear when the lady said to the gentleman, I'm sorry, cancel the bet and give the gentleman back his $50. The gentleman come over to me and I was saying to him, look how when we lose our money inside of this place, we take it like a big man and go home. And the moment we're supposed to win something, all these people do is play racketeering game on us and all kind of scheme. Them full of it. Well, anyway, I wasn't talking to anybody personally in there. I was just discussing this between me and the gentleman who was there gambling.
Right.
Well, the supervisor or the manager, whoever she may be, because I don't know her, I did not have a conversation with her, took it up on her head, called the police. I did not even know that the police was there to attend to me. I saw when the police went over and spoke to whoever they were speaking to in the management location. Then I saw the 2 police officers came over to me and said, sir, you are asked to leave this establishment. I said, leave this establishment? What did I do, sir? This is a place where I spend a lot of money. Sometimes I lose a lot of money here. Sometimes I win big money here. So what did I do that you are asking me to leave this establishment? He said, I don't know, sir, but we get a call and they want you out of this establishment. I said, they who? Because I did not hurt anybody. I did not have a conflict with anybody. And I did not become physical with anybody. All I was doing here is gambling, sir. Well, I said to the officer, sir, can I give the gentleman these bets so he can go and cash these bets from me because I'm winning some money, sir, and I want to cash this thing and go home. The police said, okay, so I give the gentleman the bets and he was going to cash them. Then I see the policeman start to get blue and purple and pink and all kind of color. So my friend hold me and say, Super Cat, this don't look good. Come, let's get out of here. On my way walking out the place, the police officer, it was 2 police officers, a black-haired police officer and a blonde-haired Nazi-looking officer. Well, the blonde-haired Nazi-looking officer attacked me from back way, knocked me to the ground. I almost drop and lick out my teeth and break my nose, so I have to drop with my hand in front of me. On my way falling, I hold on to the officer's sleeve to break the fall because I was surely going to drop on my face, break my nose and lick out my teeth. So I hold on to his arm and slide down to the floor, drop with my hand in front of me. And when I force myself down to the ground, the officer have licked me to the wall, chop up my foot, put him knee on my back, have him gun to my head, and him friend back off him gun and say, boy, no.
So, what did you do to this officer or anybody in that place? Did you do anything? Did you touch anyone?
I did not do anybody, nothing. And listen what happened now. When they take me to the station, they charge me with assaulting an officer, disorderly conduct, disturbing the peace, and another petty charge. Well, they go on to drop the assault because when we went to court, the tape show that I'm an innocent man, I was not doing anything. My lawyer was picking jury in the day of last week, one of this day when the trial went on. And I said to my lawyer when he were picking jury, I said, why am I ending up with an all-white jury and I'm not seeing anybody of my peers here? I got a Jewish lawyer and I said to him, why is nobody of my peers here? Long Island is a place of all different races and classes of people. I don't see any black people up there, sir. Why am I try as an Indian man with a whole bunch of white people? And you know there is no good Indian in America but a dead Indian, said the history of my Uncle Sam. And he said to me, because you're bad lucky. Then before that he said to me, have you seen anybody up there in the jury that sick you to the stomach? I said, that white lady there, sir, that the judge asked the question that, what would she think if the establishment that sell this bet, the part of the tape that show the police harassing me and show police brutality, what would she think if they cannot come up with that section of the tape? The lady said that she would figure out that the machine in the establishment is not properly working. I said to my lawyer, this is the lady I don't want on the jury because she is already lenient with the police officer because she are already thinking that if they cannot find the part of the tape that is showing police brutality, she has already given the benefit of the doubt to the police and the establishment that it will be because of their machine is not working properly or their tape machine or their video machine that they would not have this part of the evidence. The OTB accepted that they tamper with evidence. The engineer that worked for the OTB came to testify that there is no way in the world that they would not have that part of the tape.
Hold on a minute, Cat. Hold on 1 minute there. We are still live in Jamaica. However, of course, as you know, RTN takes over the top of the hour here in New York. And we're just going to wait until the top of the hour ends in New York. And we're going to pick it up from the person that was of disgust to you on the jury. and then you move on from there. Just hang on 1 second. Let's just get the commercials at the top of the hour here in New York completed, all right? Once again, folks, a very, very exclusive interview speaking with Mr. William Mirage right here, a.k.a. Super Cat. That it's good when ambassadors like him speak up, because sometimes we let the courts say what it is and make their decisions. But as you know, here in the United States, there's a major and outright discrimination where we try to rise to the top with our culture, whether it be reggae music or whether we be of color. And, of course, this man has done and paid his due to society when it comes to, of course, being an ambassador. Let's just hang tough for a minute. We'll come right back to you in approximately 2.5 minutes. Stay with us right here. We're still live in Jamaica. And, of course, we're going back live in New York.
Outrage last night in the streets of Oakland. Protesters set fires and broke windows on police cars and storefronts. Officers in riot gear responded with tear gas volleys. The crowd angered over the fatal shooting of 22-year-old Oscar Grant, a butcher's apprentice.
The police is getting away with murder. And out in the streets, they talk about they serve and protect us. They don't serve and protect us, they kill us.
On New Year's Day, at least 4 different people with cell phone cameras shot video of Grant and 2 other men surrounded by transit police after an alleged fight on a subway train. The video provided to NBC by a lawyer for the Grant family. Grant is sitting against a wall when officers shove him to the floor and start handcuffing him. During the scuffle, one officer, later identified as Johannes Messerly, pulls his gun and shoots Grant. Both the officers and the witnesses react in horror. Grant died several hours later in a hospital, leaving behind his girlfriend and a 4-year-old daughter. Grant's family has filed a $25 million lawsuit against the transit system. They're also urging the authorities to file criminal charges against the officer who shot Grant. That officer has resigned from the transit police, and neither he nor his attorney will comment. Meanwhile, city officials in Oakland are asking people to stay calm.
I don't want anyone hurt here. I don't want anyone jailed here.
As they hope there won't be a repeat of last night's violent protest.
So, Supercat, can you pick up the conversation right from the individual that was on the jury when your lawyer asked you if you saw anyone that gave you any kind of disgust on the jury?
When they were picking jury, there was like 14 people there. There was a black gentleman and the jury and one Chinese person. And before they narrowed down to the 6th jury, which they should have almost 8, my lawyer said to me, "Do you see anyone sitting on the bench as jury that sick you to your stomach, that disgust you?" I said, "Yes, that lady that just said, if it come to a case where the tape is missing, the part of the tape that shows police brutality, she would give the benefit of the doubt to the establishment on the basis of maybe their equipment is not properly working." I said, "Mr. whatever my lawyer name was, sir, I don't want this lady and the jury, sir. She's already crucifying me without a trial." My lawyer went to take off. The only black gentleman was on the jury and the only Asian person. I said, "Sir, why is no people of my peers is on this jury? Why am I being tried with an all-white jury?" Anyway, the judge was saying to the jury like he was schooling them, the media does not interested in this case. Daily News and Newsday does not interested in this case. So am I saying, so what am I, an uncivilized person? I'm a reggae artist. I'm an ambassador of reggae and the culture of reggae, and I'm not just standing up for me alone, but for other people out there who is facing police brutality, because a lot of it is taking place around our community and in different places in the States. So I would have to stand up because I believe in me, and I believe that if America and the Constitution is saying all man is created equal, I think they should heed that document, because that document is full of it. But anyway, we go on to have a trial, which they found me guilty on all 3 charges after.
What were the charges that you were being tried for?
Well, the charges were maybe 3 petty charges. One of them is disorderly conduct. The other one they claim was disturbing the peace, and the police officer claimed that I assaulted him, which the tape did not show that. The tape showed that the police officer attacked me from back way, licked me down to my face and fling me to a wall that chopped up my foot. I didn't even press charges against them because they were like some girl. They were petty. Because if we can knock over guys and fight guys, we don't even really want to go to court. But I take it to court because I believe in justice, to see what this system have to give. Because I'd prefer lick down one of them police them more than take it to court. But I said, no, I have to deal with it in a civilized manner. It don't make sense to end your life that I with one of them boy. For them boy, not really worth it. So I take it to the court to see what the system have to give. When I went to court and all the documents and all the evidence show that I'm an innocent man and show that the police is full of brutality and need to go to anger management class, they found me guilty on all 3 charges, and my lawyer was there skinning up his teeth with the judge and all of them. It was just like a kangaroo court. It's like when you go to a lynch mob. It wasn't a court. Then after the jury found me guilty on all 3 petty charges, which they dropped the assault charge because they see that the officer was lying. I have a professor from Malay College that come to testify for me. The gentleman leave his class with all his students in there in the middle of the day where he was supposed to be working because the gentleman saw that it was injustice. And when he tried to speak out that day at the OTB, the police threatened him too and tell him that they will lock him up. There was another gentleman who was a Jamaican who decided to come and give evidence for me also because he was the guy who I sent to buy the bed for $50, and the guy said, this is not right. They told him that any more black guys speak will go to jail. So the gentleman said to them, sir, then you mean that if my skin black, me I go to jail, and Martin Luther King and all them man, they get shot already for civil rights movement, so we stand up as black people. And Rosa Parks consider session and get up out our seat, then you mean that this it come back to, sir? And it was Veterans Day. Well, anyway, to make a long story short, they find me guilty on all 3 petty charges, and quickly the judge tell me that I have to go to see a probation officer.
Right.
But I work of the mafia and the lynch mob court, and because the system is passing Supercat as a dead man, and I got a case of identity theft on my hand. Because if I'm getting a letter, State Controller Office, and the State Controller Office was just recently run by Mr. Alan Iversey, who is holding 145 billion. I don't know whosoever it may concern monies or all those, but I don't know if Supercat may have some money in there. And whosoever is collecting my money on the behalf of my name, it's identity theft on my head.
Let me say this much. So pretty much what I'm hearing here at Supercat is that there are monies out there that is definitely yours.
Not only just mine alone, the reggae industry is valued billions at this moment.
Right.
Billions. And this is what this letter is saying. This is with a New York government seal from the state of the United States, State of New York, Office of the State Controller.
The state,
Office of Unclaimed Funds, which goes on to say, Dear William A. Maraj, thank you for your letter concerning unclaimed funds held by this office. In order to further process your claim, we will require the following documentation: a copy of the death certificate for William Maraj.
So in other words, you know, there is money out there for you, and someone is looking for a death certificate because
in 1996, they already went through with their plan when Fox 5 Television, Paul Supercat, allegedly shot Rob and pronounced dead on arrival at Kings County Hospital in the summer of 1996. Well, this go back a far way squeeze. This is the same problem that Bob Marley have. This is why when Peter Tosh fight his case and get the $500,000 from his publishing and went home when after he haven't been home for many years, he was shot as he reached his home with him and his wife, and a great Far Eye, Free Eye was there to interview him, which ended up getting shot on his veranda when he saw the blood running out the house and running to the gate. He get another shot and dead on arrival. My great friend Garnet Silk was killed that way also when they bored the gas line and threw a buckle bomb on his house. And when he run outside and realized his mother was in there, he turned back to get her. And when he get his mother, then the fire was reaching the cylinder and there was an explosion. So he and his mother was knocked away to oblivion. And I can tell you this, in the first time when they make an attempt to kill Mr. Peter Tosh, I was a great friend of his because he growed me. And my friend Joe B, who my great late friend Early B, who was killed in Boston. When a great friend of mine in the music industry called me and said to me, Supercat, don't go to that dance in Boston because so and so and so, and I'm supposed to be there and I'm not going and I don't want you to go there. Well, in 5 hour time, I was in Jamaica beating a chalice on the veranda of my mother's house. And in 5 hour time to daylight, I get a call from Boston that Early B shot in the head in Boston. And not only that, there's many more artists in the business who've been assassinated for their publishing. There's a conspiracy going on in the reggae industry that's killing artists for their publishing. And it is written in the Bible where it said singers and players of instruments shall be there and the government shall be upon our shoulder. It's not talking about rock and roll artists. Mick Jagger and them guys get paid. It's not talking about R&B. Patti LaBelle and them people get paid. It's not talking about hip-hop. Puffy and them guys get paid. It's talking about us in the reggae industry, which is living under reggae slavery, which is a mentality that is embraced itself upon us from the early days of the movie The Other Day Come, when they murder Reagan in Jamaica as the first DJ in the business that went to defend his own with 2 guns. He is the man Jimmy Cliff is playing in The Other Day Come. Well, Supercat has been facing this darkness for a very long time. My friend Tennessee passed away because of the same situation. My friend Early B passed away because of the same situation. My friend late Nautilus, Nautilus, Fabulous Demus went away because in God we trust the Moses rob them rob us. For the same situation. Peter Touch because of the same situation. Bob Marley because of the same situation. Jacob Miller because of the same situation. Panhead because of the same situation. Dirtsman because of the same situation. My friend Tennessee because of the same situation. My friend Lee Van Cliff because of the same situation. My friend Louis Lepke because of the same situation. And I can go on to many more from now until Thy Kingdom come. But now they are focusing on Supercat because if I told you now that if you go and do your homework, you will see that the reggae industry value billions. And it is unclaimed.
That's true.
So we the people who went to the major to do work like Shabba Rankin, like Tony Rebel, like Supercat, like Patra, like Cabra, like Yellowman, like Josie Whale, like Charlie Chaplin, all of those guys who have their value out there and have no representation in reggae. Our things is out there dangling and swingling and people is having plot and plan who they have to wipe out to go and take what is not theirs. And so for a man like Dennis Brown would have to be dead, even though he was having a bad habit because of what they forced on him. And so for Mr. Gregory Isaac and them have to be suffering. And when Mr. Dennis Brown passed away, they have to be chomping up to bury him. And after he is the crown prince of reggae music, well, let me tell you, over my dead body, I'm going to stand up as a great revolutionary into this business of ours that call reggae, because there's a reggae revolution going on. And I'm a soldier in the army of reggae, and if they cannot represent themselves, well, they're going to have to kill Dada for it. For I am standing up for mine, and not only for mine, for the rest of the youth them out of the ghetto. For this is a great, great, great infringement and embezzlement on the ghetto youth man talent. Them intrepid delinquent, and them is sucking out what is ours. And them want to offer you cotton and flowers, but them better beware of the ours.
Definitely. Once again, folks, if you're just joining us and wondering what's going on right here, I'm speaking with Mr. William Mirage, a.k.a. Supercat, and recently found guilty in a couple of charges, petty charges, as he puts it. And, Supercat, my question to you is, as you put it, evidently from your, vocal cords, there is a conspiracy that's going on, right?
That's not only a conspiracy, they attempt over 3 times to assassinate me. As I tell you, I'm not going down like Tupac, because when my friend Big Papa was shot coming out of the shrine, I was down there in L.A. With my late great manager, Mr. Fred Dana. I was staying at the Hotel Nico. I went over to Snoop Dogg house. I was over there burning some cushion peg, and I said to Snoop, "You're not going to the Soul Train Award." And Snoop said, "Well, in this time, what East is going on with West?" It was a war going on with the rappers, East and West. And Snoop Dogg said, "What East is going on with West? Well, right now, niggas like us don't need no soul. So I ain't going over there." So I said to Fred, "Get me a red-eye flight back to New York, because if Snoop Dogg ain't going to the Soul Train Award, let me tell you, Fred, I want to get out of L.A. right now, because this is serious." And by the time I'm on a red-eye flight getting to Kennedy Airport, I see where Big Papa is shot coming out of the shrine. And didn't they say that police is involved in it? So this is how they go around, and they have whosoever they link with and their organization to take us out when they have to collect what is ours. And that is written again in the book. Singers and players of instruments shall be there, and the government shall be upon our shoulder. You go back to watch the concert with Mr. Bob Marley at Peace Concert. The rain wasn't falling, and the breeze wasn't blowing. But when Mr. late great Michael Manley hold up Mr. Siago and over Bob Marley head, didn't the lightning clap in the sky and no rain wasn't falling and no breeze wasn't blowing? Well, that was when the prophecy fulfilled, that singers and players of instruments shall be there, and the government shall be upon our shoulder.
Boy, I may tell you. People, once again, speaking with Supercat right here on Link Up Radio 93.5 WVIP. Supercat, you have shed a lot of light as to what's going on from your side right now with your life. And we're very happy. I don't know if it's possible, but we'd love to have you on our live television network very soon, man, to actually talk about this in person. And we're going to be carrying this in the newspaper to let people see and feel and know your side of the story. Because, and the reason, and I'm telling everybody out there this, the reason why I personally decided that Supercat needed to speak out is because I have been a victim of the system myself. And a lot of folks out there seem to believe that we're not victims of the system, but until we can unite, work together, and stop fighting against each other, guess what? They will continue to use us against each other.
Well, that is one of the greatest things you ever said, Squeeze, because I'm going to tell you something about us and the reggae industry. The reggae industry is so great, but it is without representation, because when we're supposed to join forces and bring resources, they prefer at Beanie Man at Bounty Throat and Bounty at Beanie Throat. You would notice that no time at all reggae artists has ever unite. It's because not of the youths them don't want to be unite, but the system always have to have it that way, because when they don't have you mind in your business, then the guy who's supposed to be taking care of your business becomes his business instead of his mind in your business. So it's better to have you under for distraction where you don't understand what is going on about your business, and you and Bounty will out there trying to disrespect each other while the guy supposed to manage your business is damaging your business, and then you might end up down in the West Indies, can't buy a spliff or a Guinness, and we know it's no biz like showbiz. So this is what it's supposed to be. Reggae need representation, and most of these guys who say they are manager, they are damager because they are not managing anything. It's a ring, a corrupted ring that was organized to keep the artists down. And what the artists need to know is that publishing is a very important thing in the music, because it's our pension. And if you do not have your pension, then when you're sick abroad and moving across the world, you do not have any medical, because your publishing is something that creates medical. Once they go and establish your publishing properly, even when you're not working, you have something to look up to. So then you can go and invest something back into the business when the business is slow. But because they don't want to educate the youth them what it's about the business, then they have the youth them illiterate. It's not that the youth them want to be that way. What time you ever hear they keep a seminar in Jamaica to educate the youth them on intellectual property rights? That was the best kept hidden secret in the business.
You know what, Supercat, for the young artists out there, explain to them, because a lot of them do not understand this whole publishing thing, because a lot of them jump into it and they take this cash up front, not realizing that they're signing their publishing away, giving their publishing away, and the monies that's supposed to be coming to them and their family and also their legacy, someone else is getting it. In other words, someone else is robbing it. And with the reggae music, let me say it, people, a lot of reggae artists did not sign any agreements, did not sign any contracts. And what's been going on, as Supercat has said, is that there are several institutions that is trying to get the publishing rights, or have been taking the money from the publishing and all of these artists. And here's a man speaking out. Hence the reason why a lot of you people say, how come Supercat don't do more show? How come Supercat don't do this and him don't do that? The man has been through the history, and I've spoken with the man, and not just Supercat. You've got Shabba, you've got other artists out there. They are a little bit more apprehensive as to who they do business with. Because this business, people are raping the reggae music.
Because it is, Shabba is one of the man who them done, you know, them done terrible things to, because a man like Shabba who walk the red carpet twice, win the Grammy twice, and every time them put him in at the gate, him is a winner. Where is Shabba like a small plaza? Where is Shabba clothesline? Where is Shabba investment in the business? Shabba should supposed to be out there having his own studio, helping other young artists to get where he is today, because he already established himself in the business and have the know-how and the inspiration to inspire the youth them to make the music, because Shabba is a living legend in his own right. But they've been taken away from their black king, his own crown and his throne. So what can they talk about when they are the one who damaging the business and are not teaching the youth them what they are entitled to? It's not that you cannot have a publishing deal. If you have a fair man in the business that said, Squeeze, I like the album you have and the album I kick up, you know. I want to do some business with you. I want to give you certain amount of money towards your publishing, and I'm going to sign it for a period of time. You cannot own the artist publishing perpetually. You have to do a term deal. Like you said, all right, I'm going to sign Squeeze publishing a 5-year deal. Squeeze, I'm going to give 10 million Jamaican, because it's not everybody have the US million. So if a man have 10 million Jamaican and you just come in and you're young, you still don't know what is 10 million US. Well, all right, 10 million Jamaican get you impressed, so we can do some business. All right, Squeeze, I'm going to sign your publishing for 4 years, son. I'm going to give you 10 million Jamaican. And him go and him work the thing, and him can make him money, and Squeeze thing come back, go and do another deal. Again, along the road while he's growing up in the business. But you have some guys who come along, like in the early days, a guy wants to sign Shabba Publishing for 10 grand Jamaican, big Shabba, with all them hit songs. And then when Shabba go to the majors and realize that he have to get a deal, when he was doing his business, they said, but no, you already signed the publishing for 10,000 Jamaican because the youth did not know anything about publishing business. And as I said before, they passed the copyright law in Jamaica, but there is no institution to execute the business because they are full of it. And if we are not educating the youth them about the business, tell them to stop blame the ghetto youth them when they turn the youth them against each other, because it's a game, not to let us focus on what we are entitled to, and no one is there to teach the youth them about this biz, which is no biz like show biz, and our reggae biz is one of the greatest biz out of Jamaica, West Indies.
People, the voice of William Mirage, a.k.a. Supercat, and speaking his piece right here on the exclusive interview on Link Up Radio 93.5 WVIP and Hot 102. Mr. Cat, we need to have you more, man, out there as an ambassador speaking out as to what's going on so that the younger generation coming up and the youths coming out of, you know what, can really see and understand what's going on. I'm very happy that you came on Link Up Radio and you spoke about it. Also, this is being heard in Jamaica on Hot 102. Want to say thanks again. Any final words to the people here?
Well, I just want to say to all the people, and because it's Black History Month, I want to say, hail the king and fireburn racism, and we hail all that is living, and we hail the king in glad tidings, man. Long live the king, man. Jai is the king, and let me tell you something, man. Yahweh Sabaoth El Shaddai Elohim, man. If a guy go too far and disrespect him, drop off on him head like I kill him. Bless him.
Bless up, bless up. And we say plush, peace, love, unity, strength, and harmony. And we thank you, and we'll catch up with you again, Cat. We'll talk more, man.
Blessing eyes.
Right,
you gotta get yours, I gotta get mine. 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 Get yours. Hey, yo, I'm smooth as a wannabe. Step to me, you's a gonna, G. That's the way it is. Hell yeah, and that's the way it's gonna be. Buffing up on the deck and drinking mad brew, taking names, and after that I'm kicking ass to breathe. Time to flow. Can I get a rhyme to go? Hell yeah, Pac, and I'll sit back straight up, design it slow. They used to see a young brother come up, another punk run up. He'll have to get his gun up, cause I ain't taking no shorts. Like a Newport Ford exploding the floor like Jordan exploding on the hoop court. And I don't wanna be nothing like Mike, cause even Michael's life gets an itty bitty what trifling. And when you in the spotlight, you get jock, right? But you're not tight, huh? Bucking anybody trying to take mine. When will they realize I'm straight out to get mine? Gotta get mine. You gotta get yours. I 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 gotta get mine. Your block. Get yours. I keep my mind on my money, money on my mind. Finger on the trigger, hand on my nine. I'm smoking blunts and skunk, putting holes and pumps and only underground funk pumping out of my trunk. Live the life of a hustler, high till I die. Giving them papers, making papers. Miss me with lies, picture me living out my life as a buster. I'd rather pop up a shot from my Glock and blast other suckers. I live a thug life, maybe I'm hopeless. Choking on Findo, trying to keep my focus. Don't let the punk cowards worry me. Keep the fame, I'm true to the game till they bury me. God gave me game, so I'm hustling. Pour out some liquor for my homies, Tupac is still struggling. My homie Breed knew the time, whether it's rhyme or crime. I gotta get mine. I gotta get mine. You gotta get yours. 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 Tell me, can you measure the amount of applause I keep getting? Every time I pick up a mic and start spitting, the sidewalks of New York and start bumping, jumping around with my homies in the pound, and I'm down to the fullest. Now see me break that ass off proper. Did I shock you? Cause I got you in my pocket again. You knew Jackson, you Jacks who knew me and my homies when I used to run it way back when. I boasted and roasted and coasted to the pinnacle because of what I do with a pen. It's vernacular precision, connected to lines in this division. Plus, when I add loops and flutes, it's guaranteed to sell like prostitutes. I never had a love for those who put it blunt. They want me in the back, but see I'm in the front, don't front. And really I don't even reply. Pull yourself together as you pass me by. I'm on a whole nother level, and those is left. I told you before, you can keep it to yourself, divide. So many people lied to have. It's funny what a young brother does for math. I got fractures, caught up in my everyday actions. Point, equal to your real satisfaction. Fucking anybody trying to take mine. When will they realize I'm set out to get mine?
Gotta get mine.
You gotta get yours, but I gotta get mine.
Yeah, you got to get yours. I got to get mine up.
You got to get yours, I got to get mine.
Hey, get yours.
Yo, Breeze and Tupac in the house, you know what I'm saying?
That real live stuff, you know what I'm saying?
1993, you gotta get yours out here.
Close mouth, don't get fed, boy. Hear me?
Yeah.
Get yours. Yeah. All the blessed hustlers. Get yours. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You a fool for that. Get yours. Yeah. Radio stations, you know what I'm saying? Record people. Get yours.
What I want the world to know about Bree. Outside of any negative that people heard, outside of what people thought when they saw him, outside of all of the mess, he was human. He was a real person. He was human. He had a heart. He had a family. He had a career. Music, hip-hop, rap was his passion. That's what he lived for. And I want him to be respected for that. I want him to be acknowledged for that. People don't understand, you know, this young man was 18, 19 years old, and he was on the stage of Arsenio Hall performing with legends like George Clinton, Ice Cube, Yo-Yo. He has worked with everyone from Warren G to Snoop Dogg to Too Short, Eric Sermon, Redman, Scarface, Ghetto Boys, Ghetto Mafia. The list goes on and on. There is no way in the world this man has worked with so many people in this industry. And not one person has reached out to this family. Not one person has asked about this project. Not one person has said, what's left behind? What do you need from us? And that's what Bree would have said to anybody that crossed his path. What do you need from me? That's a hard one. Because he was real. He was a very real person. He wasn't fake. He didn't hide from the public. There weren't things that he did at home that he didn't do in public. There wasn't really much that people did not know about Bree. He was a real person, and he was the same wherever he went. One thing I can say that people really didn't understand about Bree, because of all the controversy with the child support and just negative in the news, he loved his children. He loved all 5 of his children. He loved them with more than anything, you know. He loved his children. There wasn't anything that he wouldn't do for them, you know. And just being a young black man in the industry with a lot of money and a lot of negative things going around, and he literally was taken advantage of in this business, and he wasn't able to educate himself and make good decisions like he should have. He was misrepresented, just mismanaged. There was a lot of things that went wrong, and it was all caught up, and it all turned into like a negative storm surrounding him, and that wasn't him. He was a humble father, a friend, a loving son. He loved his children, and I think he was just a person that kind of he was just a victim of circumstances. And until this industry wakes up, and until these people know the real behind the scenes, what's going on, until we educate ourselves, and until we learn the laws and the rules, and, you know, these are the after effects of what happened. And this is all we have. This is it. There's no royalties. There's no Social Security. There's nothing. There's no phone calls. There's no bank accounts. There's no Bentleys in the driveway. This is it. And, you know, there are a lot of people in hip-hop, there are a lot of people in the entertainment industry that are taken advantage of, that are literally stripped from their rights and stripped from their royalties, and literally robbed in this industry. And if, God forbid, if anything ever happened to you, it's your family that feels the effects of it. It's your family that lives with it. What's left behind for your children? What's left behind for your wives? Because when you're living and you're here, you're spending it and you're blowing it and you're having a good time. And when you're gone, the person behind the scenes that have literally done this paperwork and robbed you that you did not know about, they get it. And then you have children left behind that need college tuition, that need... It's not a pretty sight, you know. People just think when someone passes away, oh, they got money, they're okay, you know, they got all this, they got all that. It's not the industry. It's not the truth. It's not the truth at all. So my message is to people, you know, at the end of the day, my message is for, you know, our African-American males to please take care of yourself. Stay healthy. Don't fall into these traps. Don't fall into these lifestyles. Be aware of your health and what's going on. And after you take care of yourself, take care of your business. Take care of your business. You know, read your contracts. Have more than one attorney read your contracts. Check up on your royalties. Make sure where your stuff is going. You know, Breed has almost 200 songs on iTunes right now. Where's it going? I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. We have good days and we have bad days. But I am not going to stop. Because what this has taught me, all those people that we fed, all those people that we partied with and took care of and opened up our door and let them be a part of our family and trusted them around our children and our finances and our most personal times in our life, they're not there. So at the end of the day, I have to march for Breed. And I have to make sure his 5 children are okay. And it may take me to the end of my life. But there's something out there. His children deserve it. It is owed to them. We're going to get it. We run his MySpace Music fan page. We have Facebook. We have, where's mcbreed.com. There's several outlets. We would like to set up a foundation for Breed in honor of Breed.
This is very important because throughout the years, black artists have been taken advantage of completely. And it's time now that we have to put a stop to this incredible injustice. And like Mr. Sharpton was saying, people from James Brown to Sammy Davis Jr., some of the real pioneers that inspired me to be the entertainer that I am. These artists are always on tour because if they stopped touring, they would totally go broken. And it's been, the record companies really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists. Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola is the president of the record division. He is a mean, he's a racist, and he's very devilish.
Symposium today, he spoke not in front of the television cameras. Part of the rules here were that the TV cameras were not supposed to record him inside as he gave a speech to some supporters of the Reverend Al Sharpton. We did notice, though, that Jackson's chauffeur, who drove him here, hey, he even wears a glove. Well, during his speech to the assembled, not in front of the cameras, Jackson said this, quote, "The minute I surpassed Elvis and the Beatles, they called me a freak, a child molester. They said I bleached my skin, I know my race, I know I am black." He said it's time for a change. That referring to the way the record companies do business. He attacked Tommy Mottola, who is the well-known head of Sony Records, which happens to be Jackson's label. Well,
the album's #1 all over the world. All over the world. America's the only one because I don't want to say too much.
But it's not #1 in the United States.
It's conspiracy, yeah. I don't want to say too much. I'm done. I don't want to say much because I'm hurting. I'm really hurting. It's conspiracy, yeah. It's conspiracy, yeah. It's conspiracy. It's conspiracy.
Overnight, they called me a freak. They called me a homosexual.
They called me a child molester. They said I tried to bleach my skin. They made everything to turn the public against me. This was all complete conspiracy. You have to know that. This was all complete conspiracy. You have to know that. Conspiracy.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy, by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy, and ruthless conspiracy, and ruthless conspiracy, and ruthless conspiracy, conspiracy.
Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you're too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God. Men will beat their swords into plowshares, their spears into pruning hooks. Nations will not rise up against nations, neither shall they study war anymore. And I don't know about you, I ain't gonna study war no more.